Would you trust a robot to close your next sale? It seems like everywhere you turn, someone's talking about AI as the future, especially when it comes to content creation and even sales copy. As entrepreneurs, our time is precious. And with so many demands on our attention, it's tempting to rely more and more on AI to handle the brain intensive tasks. So much so that it's easy to wonder, is writing your own sales copy even worth it in the age of AI? Let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to break down the role of AI in copywriting, what it does well, where it falls short, and why writing your own sales copy, or at the very least, being deeply involved in the process, is more important than ever. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to use AI effectively and responsibly to help you write sales copy, and how to make sure your voice doesn't get lost in the process. I'm Jen Hill Myers, copy coach, marketing strategist, and founder of the Kind Copy movement. And I've spent years helping purpose driven entrepreneurs find their message, fine tune their voice, and sell in a way that aligns with their values. I've tested these ideas in live launches, long form sales pages, funnels, workshops, and more, both in my business and with my private clients and inside my membership, the Kind Copy Collective. In this video, we're going to talk about how AI fits into the world of sales copy and why your human touch still matters more than ever. We're going to cover 5 core topics: the smart way to use AI and how it can actually make your writing process easier, the hidden dangers of over relying on AI, including the blind spots that could be quietly tanking your conversions, why your human voice still sells better even in an AI saturated market, the copy skills too many entrepreneurs are skipping and why skipping them is costing you time, money, and trust, and how to collaborate with AI without losing your soul, using a realistic middle path that saves you time and keeps your message honest. So let's get started with where AI really shines. Because the goal here isn't to shame you for using AI. I use it every single day in my business. The problem isn't using AI, it's relying on it to do something it was never meant to do, replacing your voice, your values, or your deep understanding of your audience. So, what can it actually do to help you? First, AI is fantastic at helping you get started. If you're staring at a blinking cursor on a blank page, AI can help you break out of that paralysis. It gives you something to react to, something to refine, a place to bounce ideas and words around. And that alone can be a game changer, especially if copy is not your forte. Second, AI can help you organize your ideas into a rough draft. AI excels at pattern recognition and organization. So let's say you've been voice noting a bunch of ideas, or you've got a Google Doc of notes from a recent coaching call. AI can help you pull that together into a logical starting point so you don't lose momentum. Third, AI can speed up repetitive tasks. If you're manually handling things like repurposing a long form post into multiple captions, turning a webinar into an email sequence, or drafting onboarding materials for a new client based on your notes from an intake call, AI can shave hours off your process if you use it intentionally. And fourth, it's great for helping you place your copy into a proven structure. Copywriting formulas like PAS or AIDA still work, and AI can help you map your thoughts to those frameworks. That scaffolding is going to let you focus on what you're trying to say instead of getting stuck in how to say it. So, AI can be an incredibly helpful tool to support your creative process and save you time. But there's more to good copy than speed, and that's where we need to zoom out. Because here's the problem: when we rely on AI too heavily or use it without at least a basic knowledge of the principles of copywriting and marketing psychology, we start to lose the very thing that makes our copy resonate. So let's talk about the risks. You know that feeling when AI gives you something that feels almost right, but still slightly off? That's because AI is pulling from patterns, not people. Even when the structure looks solid, it can lack the nuance, emotional intelligence, and intuition that comes from actually knowing your audience, from being in real conversations and hearing their hesitation and feeling their urgency. AI can hit the keywords, but it's not getting the deeper connection points. It can't tap into the emotions that make someone buy from you, trust you, or take the next step with you right now. Then there's the risk that your message sounds like everyone else's. Even with a unique prompt, AI is trained to produce what's most likely to work based on billions of data points. GPT models are trained on enormous banks of text from across the internet. Their goal is to predict the next most likely word based on the context you give them. So even if you give it a brilliant custom prompt, the model is still trying to produce something that sounds statistically good or correct based on everything it's seen before. It's designed to be broadly acceptable. And broadly acceptable almost always sounds average. It's safe and it's forgettable. That's why so many AI generated headlines, email intros, landing page hooks feel eerily similar and familiar, even when the businesses behind them are radically different. They're all drawing from that same giant pot of predictable phrasing and pattern match structure. And the more we outsource our message to that system without intervening, the more we lose the edge that made our message and our voice stand out in the first place. And this problem isn't new, by the way. It's the same problem we've had since long before AI with plug and play templates. And it's not that templates are always bad. Some of them are created by brilliant copywriters who deeply understand sales psychology and proven marketing frameworks. But when people use them without understanding why the elements are there or how to adapt them without breaking their function, they end up creating Mad Lib style copy that sounds the same as 100 other businesses in their niche. And AI is just a faster way to make that exact same mistake at scale and at speed, right? So, with all this talk about what AI can and can't do, let's come back to what you bring to the table because your human voice is still going to sell better and not just because it sounds more natural. Your human voice is shaped by your lived experience. So, unlike the AI, you're not pulling from data, you're pulling from a place of depth, from the real life stories, challenges, mistakes, and transformations you personally have moved through or that you've witnessed in the people you've worked with. That lived experience allows you to speak with nuance and specificity. It lets you say, I know what this feels like, and actually mean it. It means you can accurately describe exactly how your ideal client's struggle is playing out in their everyday life. And it lets you write copy that actually resonates. You also have an emotional intelligence advantage AI will never have. You've had client calls where someone hesitated before speaking. You've read between the lines of a message and known exactly what wasn't being said. That's intuition, discernment, the emotional intelligence that helps you choose the right tone, the right timing, the right way to say something. AI can't do that. It doesn't understand fear or shame or quiet hope. And when your audience is at the edge of a decision that feels vulnerable or risky, they need to be able to feel seen to be able to trust you and their decision to work with you. Your voice is one of the ways you build that trust because it's how your values show up on the page. As a values driven entrepreneur, your copy isn't just describing your offer, it's also reflecting how you do business, how you approach service, how you treat people. That shows up in the language you choose, in the promises you make, in the pressure you don't apply. AI might be able to mimic your tone, but it doesn't understand your ethics and your values. It doesn't know what consent means in a sales context. It doesn't know when it's crossing the line between aspirational and manipulative. And it can't feel when something's slightly off, but you can. And that matters because your people aren't just buying what you sell, they're buying how you sell it. And your voice builds trust across touch points by consistently reflecting your values. The people in your audience are smart. They can tell when a message has been passed through too many hands or filtered through too many tools. But when your voice is consistent, when your emails sound like your videos and your sales page feels like your live coaching calls, that consistency builds trust. It creates a sense of safety and connection. There's a line from the movie You've Got Mail that I always come back to. It's where Kathleen Kelly is reacting to the idea that business isn't personal. And she says, whatever else anything is, it ought to begin by being personal, sales copy included. Because what we're offering is personal, and that deserves to be done with integrity and care. The moment we strip the humanity from our message, we risk breaking the trust we've been carefully trying to build. So let's talk about the part no one wants to hear. The biggest risk of relying too heavily on AI isn't just that your message starts to sound like everyone else's, it's that you lose the skills that actually move the needle in your business. And I get it. Copywriting can feel overwhelming. You didn't become a coach, creator, course builder because you wanted to study sales psychology. You just want to help people. And copy feels like a necessary evil. So when a tool comes along that promises to write your copy for you, of course, you're going to be tempted to skip the hard stuff. But here's what gets lost when you bypass the fundamentals. Number one, you skip the skill of identifying what your audience really needs to hear right now. Strong copy doesn't start with clever words, it starts with clarity about your message, your offer, your positioning, your ideal client. Clear beats clever every time. And if you're not clear on the problem you solve, why that problem matters, what outcome you're offering, or why now is the right time, AI can't fix that. It can only fill in the blanks with guesses, and those guesses are costing you conversions. Number two, you skip the skill of translating what you do into language your audience actually understands. You know your process inside and out, but your dream client doesn't yet. If you don't know how to bridge the gap between your expertise and their awareness, AI will either use buzzwords, vague generalities, or overly complicated explanations, none of which will help your ideal client say yes. So, learning how to meet people where they are and write from their point of view is a skill, and it's one that makes every part of your marketing more effective. Number three, you skip the skill of making clear, confident offers. If you've ever struggled to name your offer, describe what's included, or confidently explain why it's worth the investment, you're not alone. That's messaging work. And if you hand that part over to AI too early, before you've clarified the container, the outcome, the value, you get generic offer language that doesn't actually speak to what your clients need. Number four, and maybe most importantly, you skip the skill of learning to trust your own voice. Your voice isn't just what makes your copy sound like you, it's the thing that helps you make braver offers, take up more space, claim your expertise. And that voice gets stronger the more you use it. If you hand over the mic too soon, you're not just slowing your growth, you're weakening your foundation. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't an anti AI video. AI is here, it's evolving fast, and it can be a powerful support tool, especially when you're juggling all the hats as a small business owner. But the key is learning how to collaborate with it, not hand over the reins. There's a middle path here, a path that saves you time and keeps your message grounded in truth, clarity, and connection. One that lets you use AI strategically without outsourcing your values or diluting your voice. So, what does that look like in practice? First, start with clarity, not a prompt. Before you even open a blank Google Doc or fire up your favorite AI tool, you need to know the basics. Who are you speaking to? What do they need right now? What are you offering and why does it matter to them? What action do you want them to take? If you can't answer those questions first, you're setting AI up to generate fluff. It might sound okay on the surface, but it won't hit home. And that's how we end up with that generic copy that kind of sounds like you, but doesn't actually convert. Next, use AI to accelerate, not originate. One of the smartest ways to use AI is as a thought partner, not a ghostwriter. Let it help you get out of your own way. Break through that blank page, organize your messy brainstorm, summarize something you said in a voice memo, but don't expect it to fully replace your thinking. The more you give AI to start with, and the more you engage with what it gives you back by editing, reworking, layering in more insight, the more aligned your final message becomes. Third, treat it like a rough draft assistant. Think of AI like a really fast intern with zero lived experience. It can organize your ideas, suggest headlines, give you 10 ways to say something, but it can't read the room. It doesn't know your client. It doesn't know what's too much or not enough. So your job is to sense check everything. Does this feel like something you'd actually say? Is this a promise you'd actually stand behind? Does it reflect the energy and integrity you bring to your work? Finally, keep your creative intuition in the loop. You've got a lifetime of experience, intuition, and emotional intelligence to draw from. AI doesn't. So don't skip the human gut check. If something feels off, trust that instinct. AI is the engine, but you have to be the driver. You decide when you hit the brakes, when you take a different route, when you change directions entirely. Because at the end of the day, your copy is your voice. It's your values, your brand, your invitation. And the moment that invitation starts to feel impersonal or out of alignment, your audience feels it too. So here's what I hope you take away from this. AI is a powerful tool and it's not going anywhere. But your voice, your lived experience, emotional intelligence, and values is the part that makes your copy truly work. You don't have to choose between tech and truth. You can still use AI to support your process without sacrificing your message or your integrity. And the more rooted you are in your message, the clearer you are on what you stand for, who you serve, and how you help, the more powerful AI becomes as your creative partner. But it starts with you because your copy is a mirror of how you show up in the world. And that deserves to be crafted with care. So if you've been tempted to hand it all over to the robot, remember your voice still matters. And in fact, it might just matter more now than ever before. I hope you found this helpful. If this video gave you a fresh perspective, I've got more tips and resources coming your way, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss them. And if you're ready to dig deeper, I'd love to have you join us inside the free Kind Copy Movement community over on School. It's filled with copy tips, resources, and support for ethical business owners who want copy that converts without cringy, broy tactics. I'll drop the link to join in the description box below. Thanks so much, and bye for now.